Whoa! Hey there, guys. It's Twitter. Hey there, little guy. How are ya? Saw what you did to Donald Trump there. Yeah. Started a little show, didn't you? Well, what the f took you so long, little buddy? Risk of further incitement of violence? Oh, yeah. No, I heard. Yeah. Well, how about next time you don't wait for there to be a fucking insurrection before you get your shit together, huh? Bird shit is known as guano? Oh, I knew that, actually. Oh. Okay. See you later. Fucking little shit stir. Oh, I smell a controversial one today. People go get pissed today. Twitter and social media in general have suspended Donald Trump's accounts, okay? Twitter being the sort of catalyst here, citing that Donald Trump was a risk of further incitement of violence, okay? I mean, you heard it straight from the bird's mouth, right? Or beak. This beckons many on the right to ask, what about our First Amendment right? I mean, it's not like Trump's Twitter account was periodically spreading misinformation and perpetuating conspiracy theories, right? Of course it has. Trump's Twitter was a scalding hot pile of horse shit, or bird shit, or guano. Trump and his fucking little baby thumbs, right, have single-handedly or double-handedly bifurcated the country in ways that are seemingly irreparable. Over the years, and even before his presidency, he managed to just stir the pot without remorse, mind you, while simultaneously bringing the whole damn thing to a dangerously high boiling point that it just boom. Okay? Words have immense power. And when you're the beacon of the country, your words carry an immense amount of weight. You're not just some run-of-the-mill boomer dad who shares conspiracy theory memes on private Facebook groups, okay? You're the president of the United States, okay? You shared conspiracy memes to 88 million people, followers. I'm not talking about conspiracy memes about aliens and shit. I'm talking about dangerous information that affected people during this pandemic. I can't believe what a responsibility this schmuck had, and he completely chalked it. 88 million followers. 88 million! Words become actions. Okay? Mahatma Gandhi or Lao Tzu or Margaret Thatcher, someone said that, and it's true. Though he did not point blank order an attack on the Capitol, his tweets and his speeches indirectly communicated language in such a way that would provoke an attack or an insurrection. And that's exactly what happened. You cannot argue against that. There are only so many times you can indirectly, insistently promulgate a dangerous idea without suffering any of the repercussions from doing so. Okay? Just because he didn't directly say it does not mean that he did not provoke it. It was as if Trump was clandestinely playing his own version of Simon Says. Right? Trump says, touch your nose. Trump says, touch your ears. Trump says, stand back and stand by. Insurrect and take the Capitol. I didn't say Trump says. Here's what Twitter said in a statement. After a close review of recent tweets from @RealDonaldTrump account and the context around them, we have permanently suspended the account due to the risk of further incitement of violence. But NYZ Adam, my First Amendment rights. All right, so let's further discuss this. Twitter is a private entity, first and foremost, okay? So let's get the debate lords out of the room for a second because that's it. Period. The First Amendment only protects us from government censorship, okay? Twitter, as well as all those other platforms, have what's called a TOS, okay? Or a Terms of Service. Twitter and the other platforms have perceived Trump's words as a risk, one that would encourage further bloodshed. They are completely within their right to suspend any and all accounts that they see violates their terms of service. When you create a Twitter account, you sign a contract, essentially, okay? End of story. It's the reason why you can't just threaten the livelihood of people online, okay? It's the reason why you can't propagate imagery or videos of child pornography or Nazi propaganda, okay? There are limitations to your freedom of speech. And these terms of service on all these websites have these rules, okay? You sign this contract the second you sign onto the website. This hyperbolic notion that we're entering this Orwellian age of 1984 is horseshit. I never realized how much I actually use my hands to talk. You cannot provoke chaos and violence for the same reasons why you cannot yell bomb in a crowded subway when there is no fucking bomb. You have schmucks out here, okay, like Tucker Carlson and Tim Pool, who are labeling Twitter's actions as some sort of like attack on right-wing ideology, okay, or big tech censorship. This has nothing to do with Republican or right-wing philosophies being censored. Fuck is you talking about, bro? Unless you consider inciting violence and galvanizing Nazi ideology as right-wing philosophy, then fuck you should be censored. Now, if you said Twitter was banning people from saying, I believe in lower taxes for the wealthy, small government, and free market capitalism, then yes, you would have an argument here, a proper argument on censorship from freedom of speech, because those are proper right-wing ideologies, ones that I don't believe in, but whatever. You can easily take your prissy little fingers on Twitter and type, I am pro-life and against a woman's right to choose. You can very much do that, okay? No one's going to bar you or ban you or suspend you for that. The issue here lies in provoking and inciting violence, be that bullying or hate crimes or national security threats, okay? Like we saw a few days ago. According to Twitter, they claim that future attacks were already being discussed on and off of the platform. They don't want any part of this. None of these social media entities want any part in this horse shit bird guano poop. And who is at the root of all this? The supreme agitator himself, Donald Trump. They are within their power to invoke their glorification of violence under their terms of service, and they can suspend whoever, whenever they see fit. Okay, their glorification of violence policy clearly states glorifying violent acts could inspire others to take part in similar acts of violence. I mean, what exactly are we upset at here? What elements of free speech are people like Tim Pool actually defending here? What philosophies are you advocating for? With all due respect, if you're an advocate for the demented, psychotic that's being tossed around on Parler and Gab, and you're going as far as to say that it's conservative ideology, then all the censorship for you, all of it, I throw it all your way. I'm serious. Take a second and check out the content that exists on Gab. It is horrific. It is in no way, shape, or form an exaggeration to say that these platforms are safe havens for Nazis and Nazi sympathizers, which is what I'm thinking a lot of these people who are complaining about freedom of speech are. I'm talking about some crazy shit, like crazy shit that you would have to go out of your way to find on 4chan. I found within 5 minutes of being on Gab. Parler, from my understanding, is not too far behind. People's lives are literally being threatened on these platforms. Abductions and violent acts against politicians and civilians are being plotted on these platforms. And people like the President of the United States of America are agitating the whole thing. Again, Trump never directly ordered any form of violence against the Capitol or against other people, but he for sure agitated and galvanized his supporters to the point where they tumultuously and erroneously dubbed a false movement as a revolution.
It's a revolution!
In the end, my friend, at Real Donald Trump was suspended. Permanently suspended. If the President of the United States feels as though he's being censored, then he can hop up right on his podium. Remember that thing? Or hop on Tucker Carlson, okay? The most syndicated program on cable television. How you doing, Tucker? You racist shit. But here's the way it's going right now, okay? The debate lords are out there, right? Scattered in the masses, whipping out hyperboles like, welcome to 1984. Like, shut the fuck up. Fucking hell, people are even going as far as to debate whether or not Trump's tweets incited violence or not. People are literally whipping out the imminent lawless action test. Like, what a fucking stretch. The imminent lawless action test states that speech can be banned if it is directed at inciting or producing imminent lawless action and it is likely to incite or produce action. Can we get a playback of what I said a few minutes ago?
Again, Trump never directly ordered any form of violence against the Capitol or against other people, but he for sure
agitated and galvanized his supporters to the point where they tumultuously and erroneously dubbed a false movement as a revolution.
Look, imminent lawless action has a serious history of ambiguity, but you have to be a fucking schmuck to argue against the fact that Trump has been inciting and provoking stupidity for many, many, many years, even before his presidency. Look, I hold civil discourse and encourage debate to the highest extent. How can we expect knowledge and education to cultivate without ever speaking to each other? A lot of the times, many of these conversations will be had outside the Overton window, which is fine. That's where a lot of secluded ideas can be found, both good and bad. However, that being said, the second you utilize your freedom of speech to wreak havoc on the livelihood of others, then you're done, okay? I'm talking about bullies. I'm talking about hate groups. I'm talking about violence. These are not conditions that are protected under your First Amendment right. You don't get to dehumanize and advocate for the annihilation of others and call it politics. You don't get to bully and torment a person and call it politics. And you don't get to disseminate and propagate dangerous misinformation about a pandemic and call it politics. Look, we won't always agree, and that's beautiful, but we can learn a lot of shit from each other, contingent upon us letting go of ignorance and obtuse ways of thinking. Thank you so much for watching. You know I love you guys. 2021 is the year of positivity, and as angry as I may have sounded in this video, I just had to air out my grievances. I had to state my piece. I mean every word of it. And I advocate so much for freedom of speech and our First Amendment right. But also, I advocate for love, okay? Don't spread hate. Don't spread information that's going to hurt other people. Don't encourage behavior that's going to hurt other people, okay? Let's think of each other. Let's love each other, all right? Like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Peace and nothing but love.